what happened in that context.
Just two further aspects on that. At paragraph 73, you reference receiving information also from the National Commissioner and from the National Commissioner and Lieutenant General Khumalo about a potentially corrupt
That's correct.
prosecutor. Yeah.
So, Honorable Chair, I received information from the National Commissioner and General Khumalo about a particular member of the prosecuting authority who was involved in organized criminality. I am not going to mention the name of that prosecutor in this House. The matter is under investigation. I immediately, upon receiving that information, I made a formal referral of the matter to the IDAC to investigate the matter. And that's the one direct evidence, bit of evidence or information, I should say, because I did ask the National Commissioner and General Khumalo. I met with them and I said to them, please, we need more evidence so that we can look into this matter, because it's unacceptable and untenable that any member of the prosecuting authority is involved with organized criminality. That there should be a fair process, and I've said this to prosecutors, there must be a fair process, and if you're found to be compromised, you will be kicked out of the NPA. We serve the people and we fight crime. We cannot be criminals ourselves.
But what's the status of this particular prosecutor, given these serious allegations coming from high-ranking
I don't... The prosecutor is under suspension.
Okay. Okay. So it's currently not been temporarily removed from the system. Now, just while the second aspect I wanted to, just while we're at it, is you otherwise reference at paragraphs 71 and 72 some statistics with us relating to complaints or allegations of corruption, presumably less serious, but nevertheless complaints of misconduct at paragraph 71 and 72. Do you want to just briefly refer to that?
So, in terms of...
Just a moment, Honorable Skwasana.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make a seeking clarity question, because the Advocate Batohi is saying he can't reveal the name here. But if it's the same person who was mentioned in the media, why not revealing it here? Because in the media, if as members here of the committee, and the South African, some people knows exactly what we are talking about, who's that person we are talking about, why are we hiding it here? Thank you, Chair.
Advocate.
Chair, I will not want to hide anything from this committee. I regard it as a very important committee. But I do want to be responsible at the same time. I'm not sure who the person is that the honourable member is referring to. But even if the name is given to me now, I'm not going to make a comment about whether it is or isn't. It's not fair on the process. It's not fair on the person concerned. And this might turn out not to be true. We may not be able to verify this information. And then it destroys people's reputations and lives. And I think it will be hugely irresponsible for me at this stage, with just the bit of information that I have referred, to mention names in this House. So I would please ask the House to be understanding and not to insist that because I will not reveal the name, Chair, with all due respect.
Chair, the advocate says that he won't reveal the name, and he's not sure whether I'm talking about the same person. Do you know the name?
Chair, if I may ask the name of which person, the person in the media or the person in respect of whom the information was received?
No, the person you mentioned that is sitting at home, the prosecutor, which you said is sitting at home as we speak here.
I do.
But we are talking, you said you don't know that person.
No. It is not what she said.
Yes?
You alluded to knowing a person
The media is.
who might be on suspension because the report is in the media.
Yes.
And what we may have to check with her is whether the report that you have seen in the media and the report that she gives here are one and the same report or are two different reports.
Yes. Yes, no, I agree, Chair. And maybe if he said that, if he can say it, is it the same person, maybe he doesn't want to mention. But if it's mentioned in the media and it's the same person and he says it's a secret, for me that's a double standard. I mean, we deserve to know as well, formally so, not from the media. But if it's a different person, it's okay.
Yeah. She says for the purpose of professionalism. Honorable Malem.
No, thanks, Chair. I thought she was suggesting we must just go home if she's going to proceed like that. Because we deal with names here. What are we dealing with? What are we dealing with here? We want to know who captured the criminal justice system. And if we can't be told names and we accept that, let's go home. Especially names that are out there. There is a prosecutor, I'm just forgetting the name of, is it Johannesburg or something, Pretoria, who's suspended by the president? Joburg, Chauke. What's difficult saying something like that? What's difficult saying something like that? If we're referring to Chauke, or if there is more, we need to know. There is nothing unprofessional about that, because if we're going to proceed like that, we're becoming toothless. We cannot allow a situation where there is an allegation of a prosecutor who is being captured or infiltrated, and we are told we can't be given a name. If it was wrongly mentioned, there are recourse in South Africa where that name will be cleared. There are so many names of people being said here, people who are also in jail, people who are already on criminal trials. We get deep into those issues because we're seeking to unearth the truth. If it is true, indeed, there are people who are captured in the prosecuting authority. We want to know that. What if Chauke is wrongly accused? What if he's correctly accused? We need to come to a determination that, look, there is nothing in the NPA that suggests there is any infiltration by the drug cartel or anything of that sort. Or there is, and if we say there is, these are the issues. And these are the individuals responsible for those kind of activities in the NPA. So I don't think Honorable Skosana is being irresponsible in that regard. Thanks.
Advocate.
Thank you, Chair. I really want to emphasize, honorable members, that I do not seek to be disrespectful to this committee. I haven't even said, the members have mentioned names. I haven't even said whether it is or isn't that name that has been mentioned. And I will not, I don't want to make it difficult for this House to be able to do its work. But given that I was given, I think what at the level of intelligence, because I haven't even said it's evidence, I went back to the National Commissioner as well as General Khumalo and I said, can you please give me evidence of this? Because I need more evidence. And so I really urge that it will be hugely irresponsible of me to mention a name in this House on the basis of intelligence that I've received that may or may not be true. So I really urge honorable members to understand that I do want to help this House, but I do not want to put people's names at risk. For various reasons, you never know how people are put at risk. I mean, and we don't know whether it was a direct consequence of what happened in this House, but you know that our chief investigator of the IDAC was attacked a day or two after his name was mentioned in this House. But one might say, look, he is the chief investigator, it's not difficult, that you shouldn't really draw that conclusion. I will understand that as well. But it does put people at risk, and I do not want to be irresponsible and do that when all I've received is intelligence about the possibility that someone, well, about the fact that somebody is involved with organized criminal networks. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Ngola.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, we have evidence before us that there are rogue sections within the NPA, which suggests that we must dig deeper to look into the allegation. And part of what has been a modus operandi of this ad hoc chair was that names must be given to the committee so that it is actually assisted in formulating a finding and recommendations. From the evidence of General Mkwanazi, whom part of it is what he termed as an intelligence information. So we have been able, for example, Chair, General Mkwanazi stood in front of this ad hoc committee and said, him and General Kumalo went to the Minister of Police to brief him that General Sbiya is a rogue element within SAPS in terms of intelligence information. So I'm trying to display, Chair, that this is not the first time we're dealing with the situation of this matter. And I'm trying to make the NTPP comfortable to mention the name of the person that she's referring to. It is not certainly a finding or a guilty decision if you mention the name. Part of what we've been placed on here, Chair, is that there is an evidence General Mkwanazi even brought to the committee and later withdrew some parts of that evidence, and it was acceptable. So I want Chair, the NTPP to feel comfortable to provide the necessary finer detail of the evidence he's giving before the committee. Thank you very much.
Advocate Honorable Matthews. So sorry.
Thank you, Chair. Just to add on, number one, within our terms of reference, as a committee, I know this is an open, it's an open hearing at the moment, but we do have an option of a closed session. I'm not saying that we need to go there. We cannot have, we are wasting our time if we are not getting names. We're also going to leave, and when we go through our deliberations, we are going to say our National Director of Public Prosecutor gave testimony, but we have no proof. Because this thing of having classified intelligence reports is something that is so old that we've heard. I mean, if we go back, even in the history of Parliament, so many decisions have been made on intelligence or classified intelligence reports that we've never seen, we don't know. So we need to make a decision on if this thing is like that high profile, do we take it into a closed session? But I don't think it is that serious, Advocate. On a very serious note, there are many people that have come, they've been cleared and they've cleared their names, but we are definitely wasting our time if we are going to be protecting individuals who, number one, have already, you've said they've been suspended. That means there has been action that has been taken, and I don't think our citizenry is that stupid or not to be able to put it in context that this is still under investigation and they currently being suspended. We're also undermining the intelligence both of this committee and South Africans at large. Thank you.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. Advocate, you've just mentioned that you don't trust crime intelligence. Am I right? Earlier on, you've said that you don't trust crime intelligence and now we are expected as South Africans and as this committee to trust crime intelligence. The purpose of this ad hoc committee is basically for show and tell. We want those names, and I don't think we're going to be okay today with leaving here, because everyone else's names, and I don't want to repeat what my colleague has just said. We've mentioned names of all other people that's implicated in this, and the words that were used was allegedly involved. I'm not sure why we can't do the same here today.
Advocate Batohi.
Thank you, Chair. Firstly, I want to make a correction. I didn't say I don't trust crime intelligence. I said there were people across the system that we couldn't trust. We don't know who to trust. Actually, not specific people that we don't trust. The way I said it is, I said you don't know who to trust. So, just to clarify that. Chair, I hear what the committee members are saying. It has always been the position that when we are investigating, we do not give names of anyone that is the subject of an investigation. From the NPA, we only mention the name of a person in any media report or publicly after the person has appeared in court. That is the only time we do not even mention that people are the subjects of investigation. Names are never mentioned by the NPA generally. That is our policy, and that is to protect people. I don't want to protect criminals, of course, but we live in a constitutional democracy, and we must protect the rights of people, even if you are the subject of an investigation. And I hear what the honourable members are saying about the fact that other names have been mentioned by other people that have appeared before the committee. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but I know the committee wants to do its work and wants to get to the bottom of this. Maybe the idea of a closed session is not such a bad one, because it is at the level of intelligence, and I think it will be hugely irresponsible of me to mention the name of a person. It's easier said than done. We can sit here and say, there have been allegations and people have been cleared, but these things destroy people's lives. And as prosecutors, we have a lot of power to make these decisions that affect people's lives in a very real way. And I've always implored upon prosecutors to please take your responsibility seriously. The impact of our decisions impact people's lives. So we must make the right decisions and make sure we have the evidence when we make a decision to prosecute. But that is taking it to another level. At this level where we are here, when we make a decision to prosecute, we have a lot of evidence already. Here I'm in a situation where all I have is the flimsiest bit of intelligence with a name that may or may not be true. And I still urge and I ask the committee to respect that. I cannot say it in an open platform where the many people of South Africa are listening. And I want the people of South Africa to understand that I don't mean to be disrespectful to you at all. And this committee. I really want to be responsible and not destroy even a single life. It's one too many. So I unfortunately cannot say it in this open platform, Chair.
I want you to help us here. Because you give us a report here that the official is on suspension. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chair.
And then this suspension, who effected the suspension?
Chair, if I give details about this, it could reveal the identity of a person, and it becomes if you say enough about something that actually reveals the identity, it's the same as saying a name. So I really want to urge that I can say things in a closed session, as I said. I'm happy to consider that.
I hear what you are saying, Advocate. If you start investigations, because you want to discover certain things, you can say now, because we are still at a stage where we are investigating, we may not want to jeopardize the process. But if you investigate and reach a stage where you make a decision to say, Lakhanyan, we now come to a point where we suspend you, you are acting in public office, isn't it?
Chair, for the sake of clarity, I didn't say the person was suspended for this issue.
But the person is on suspension. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying, that if you act in public office, any decision that is taken by, it's an administrative act, isn't it? And for sure you should be able to explain that decision, unless you were to say to us, like, you know, when we administered oath here, the law says you are expected to answer any question fully and satisfactorily, and failure to do so, you may be committing an offense. And if there was a law that prevents you to do that, maybe it will be advisable to you to say, I'm mindful of the oath that I've taken, but there is this law that prevents me. Because when you act in public office, the other arm of that action is accountability. You should be able to account on the decisions that you have taken, especially that, I mean, the suspension of a person or removal of a person from office is in public interest. I mean, the public wants to know why this person is no longer in office. How has it happened? Is this decision arbitrary or is it justified? If you understand what I'm saying, it's not like you are still investigating. A decision has already been taken to suspend the person. So what is it that makes it difficult to you, advocate, to say the person who is suspended is Soviet Lakhanyan?
Chair, I said that the person is not suspended for these allegations. And if I mentioned anything more about it, it may become clear who the person is. And for that reason, I do not want to say anything more about it. Chair, I would think that the Constitution actually requires me to act fairly when we take decisions. And this, in my view, is being fair to someone who may or may not be implicated in organized criminality. But of course, the matter is under investigation. Those allegations have been referred and they are being investigated.
Can I check honorable members who want to speak on this matter? Honorable Skosana, Honorable Ngola, Honorable Nomvalo, Honorable Malema.
Thank you, Chair. I'm sorry, SC. Perhaps.
Honorable Souls will be the last.
Oh. I'm sorry, to have, because there was a nice questioning to advocate. I never thought this matter is so complicated. But in my view, names have been mentioned. The president has suspended someone, which perhaps, maybe there's another ones who are suspended, some prosecutors, fine. But I don't think it's right, advocate. Because where to draw the line? When things are genuine or are not genuine, where do we draw the line? Because this committee sits here to probe these issues. The allegations which were made by General Mukwanazi. Hence we are here. We are not casting aspersion to anyone. But we want the truth. But if it's an animal farm, names were mentioned here. No one ever complains about names being mentioned here. It's for the first time for me, from hearing from you as a national director of public prosecution. When you talk about people's life being destroyed, I can tell you, don't go there. Because he invokes pains to many South Africans who have lost their lives others, their livelihood because of the NPA. Some are still being prosecuted, for many years. Their cases are still in court. But we are going to come to those questions to you at a later stage. But for now, it was only about the name. Because the media has made those names. But we don't want to rely on the media because we are here. We don't want to have the merits of the case.
I don't want
Thank you, Chair.
to debate the question. I want to hear you. What are you saying on this matter?
I'm sticking to my question, my earlier question. Thank you, Chair.
That the name must be revealed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. It does look like the NDPP is putting a barometer or a barrier in that they can only disclose the name of the person once that person appears before court, which I presume that she means the first appearance. Chair, given the fact that we have agreed to seek for an extension as the ad hoc committee, I think for progress' sake, let's say we will require the NDPP or anyone who will be at the helm of NPA before we consolidate the report to submit a written report specifically on that particular aspect. So that we proceed for now, but the committee must not be disadvantaged in collating necessary evidence so that that particular evidence informs what the committee finds in its findings and recommendations. So I propose, Chair, that before the committee does its winding up report, that evidence must have been sent through a written report to the committee. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Chair. No, Chair, we just want to make a clear statement that if the NDPP continues to refuse to reveal a name, it means she is not cooperating to an investigation. Because here we're not doing oversight. This is not a justice committee being chaired by Honorable Ngola, where you give annual reports. We're doing an investigation, and names have been tabled before this committee. Names of people who have not even been charged. Just names of people who do not appear before any disciplinary committee. So it means you don't have confidence in this committee. Two, you are undermining our intelligence. What adverse impact is it going to have if you tell us that a person is so and so? There will be no adverse impact other than an impact that is imaginary. We are just imagining that there will be an adverse impact if you mention names. How? So we are going to understand you to be refusing to cooperate with this committee if you refuse to give us names. Yeah, we are investigating, so you can't tell us how we should investigate. We can't be told by you. We have terms of reference. We know what we are doing here. So don't undermine our intelligence. Chair, I'm in support of what Honorable Skosana is saying, that the name must be revealed to help our investigation, to pursue our investigation, because that name might be relevant for us to take a certain posture with regards to this investigation. So you are refusing to give more insight about issues which are affecting our justice system if you refuse to give us a name. And we are not just asking from an ordinary person. You are the NDPP with a statutory responsibility to oversee the running of the NPA. And you come here and refuse to give us names as if it's a choice. It's not a choice. We're investigating you. We're investigating the allegations, I mean. And if we say give us names, unless you are telling us that you are refusing, then we're going to note it as such. We're going to write it down that you are not cooperating with this investigation. Thank you.
Honorable Malemo.
Chair, NDPP must know that she's got a duty to protect this country more than individuals. You can't say, I want to protect individual because of their rights and all of that. A rotten NPA, it's very dangerous to our constitutional democracy she speaks about. A rotten NPA is dangerous to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. So you cannot protect an individual over the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. Just her failure to respond to this question, she must take her bag and go. She's not going to be useful to us. We are asking names. That's why we are here. We are told there are people who kept people is names. Who are those people? We want names of drug cartels. We want names of corrupt police. We want names of corrupt judges. We want names of corrupt prosecutors. That is the whole idea of us being here. So you call a witness, when she left home, she left saying she's going to do what here? She's coming to read a policy statement in an inquiry. Yeah, we even discuss boardroom. We're discussing a pillow talk. Yeah. Yeah. That's how far we go. Now we're being told no, just a name. We can't be given a name of a prosecutor who's suspended. I know that there is a prosecutor called Chauke in Gauteng who's put on a special leave or suspended by the President of the Republic of South Africa. It is the President who communicated that publicly. What is so difficult for an NDPP to refer to such a case and say, for instance, we've got this case that is on, but I can't give details. This is what it involves. A lot of people came here and said so. This is a public information. But to come and say, I won't give you names, even on matters that are public, that is having taken a conscious decision that I'm not going to cooperate with them and I'm going to show them that they can't do anything. She's completely undermining us. To put it mildly, she's undermining us, and she left her home having taken a decision to come and undermine us here. What is so secret about telling us about a public prosecutor of a public prosecution? Everything is public there, except when you are dealing with the case. It says I will give you a name when a person appears in court. The person that we're speaking about, for instance, Chauke, he's not going to go to court. It's an inquiry that is on. The president is investigating a particular conduct, wrongly or rightfully, I don't know. So it means we'll never hear that name Chauke in this committee because he will never have a first day appearance in a criminal court. What happens? There is an internal, inquiry that the president has constituted. The head of NPA must know about that, must be comfortable to speak about it. And the refusal to speak about such an incident is to say, I'm not going to cooperate with you. Actually, the allegations goes further, which we are going to probe later when it is our turn to ask questions. They say, after they arrested advocate Chauke, they are able to register cases easily. That's what SAPS says. And cases are moving smoothly in Gauteng. Is that true? We want to get into those issues, but if the head of NPA is going to shy away from that, then which issue are we going to deal with? We need prosecutors who are cooperating with drug cartels.
Thank you, Honorable Malema. Honorable Sauls.
Chair, indeed, advocate is required to give us names. It is true. However, it is not true that names has been given in this committee. We still don't know the names of 3 out of the big 5. Why? Because the witness stated that it is under investigation and the names will be revealed, and it can be revealed in camera. It can be revealed in a closed session. So we must be honest about this, that it is true that advocate must give us the names. But the question is not must you give us the names or not. You must give us the names or name. But the question is how? Which platform? What is the requirement for you to give it in closed session? If we go by what has happened in the past in this committee, the statement was, I cannot reveal in public the names of the other three of the big five, even though the committee wants to know, and that's what we are investigating. It's because it's still under investigation. You testified, advocate, that the person you are referring to is suspended, but the suspension is not connected to the allegations that you are referring to. In other words, whatever you are referring to is still under investigation. And it is for that reason that you don't want to publicly reveal the name, if I understand you correctly. This then satisfies the same requirements that was put forward before. Where I will disagree with you, advocate, is if we say to you, you must reveal the name, but you must reveal it to us in closed session because it is still under investigation, and you refuse at that point, then I will disagree with you. Because that would be you intentionally hampering us from doing our work. But if you are willing to reveal the name in closed session, that would be in line with our terms of reference. So, Chair, I support the position that the advocate must reveal the name. But if the advocate opts to do so in closed session, that is in line with our terms of reference, and she should be allowed to do that. Thank you, Chair.
Advocate Breitenbach.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I understand the need for the members to hear the names, and we all need to hear them. Advocate Batohi has made it quite clear that the person she is referring to has not necessarily been suspended for the facts that we are now talking about. And she doesn't have control over the investigation, and the other agencies that are obviously involved in such an investigation. And so for her to sit here and publicly name people could not only undermine the investigation, but it could also undermine other agencies who are busy with important work. And so I would agree that she must be fully open and honest with this committee, but not in an open forum. And for the sake of progress, I think we should move on with everything else and then deal with this issue at the end, and in a closed forum. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Sangwan.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. No, I think I've generally been covered by all the members who spoke, and I align myself with the recommendation on the closed session. Chair, because we were discussing this matter and we don't need an answer now, I can wait until we're questioning. But I'm hoping that Advocate Batohi is also going to give us the reasons why she recommended to the President that Advocate Chauke be suspended. I would appreciate that we get that. Thank you, Chair.
Pangazit.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. One, I actually wanted also to align myself with the shall I call the demand by this committee for the name to be actually mentioned. However, I do want to support Honorable Ngola in the proposal that he made, namely that perhaps at the end of this process, the NPA, whether it would still be Advocate Batohi or the new one, be able to actually supply us with the information related to the matter that we are dealing with right now, including the name. But I also am not comfortable if the advocate simply refuses to to give the name, because names have actually been mentioned here. And Mkhwanazi did not actually beat about the bush in saying categorically that within the NPA, there are elements that have actually compromised the operations of the criminal justice system. So we cannot be overprotective of individuals, because we might be protecting the very element that we need to know about and deal with. Thank you.
SC.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I was going to propose just a short adjournment for Advocate Batohi to confirm with Council to consider making the disclosure in camera. Thank you.
No, I will grant you that time during the break, because I think we should go ahead with the work of the committee. Advocate, I think you hear the sentiment of the committee, that the committee, one of its terms of reference, which we read to you this morning, is that it is also investigating alleged corrupt relationship between officials in public institutions in the criminal justice system and members of the public. And if we are going to successfully do that work and report to Parliament, but also when I carefully listened to you when you made your opening statement, you say this ad hoc committee and the commission, the work that they do provide an opportunity for Parliament to make necessary interventions in the strengthening of the law that we have. So it's going to be very important that we have, remember the reason why we want the names is we have to decide on the witnesses that we invite before us here. And if we don't have those names, all these witnesses, the reason why the committee said the first witness must be General Mkhwanazi was because we couldn't just sit like this and throw the bones on the floor and the bones will say there is an elephant here, there is a lion here, there is a porcupine here, you must call them before. General Mkhwanazi came here and named institutions and mentioned names of officials, and we were able to make decisions on who we must invite, who must be a key witness, who is secondary witness, and the order in which those witnesses must appear before the committee. So I will take solace to what the SC says, that during the break, I mean, when you come back from the break, you will give an answer as to how that name is going to be made available to the committee. And in this regard, I would like us to continue with the proceedings. Is that fine with you, Advocate?
Chair, it's a good first step. I will certainly confer with Council during the break. Whether we'll be able to come back immediately or whether I need to get a proper legal opinion on this is something we will consider. But I really want to assure this House I do want to cooperate with this House. And I certainly do not want to be disrespectful. This is important work, as you put out. So we will certainly look at how we can best deal with this issue. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Advocate Batohi. Can we perhaps just explore this very issue a bit further? What is the difference between the suspension of Advocate Chauke by the President? Is it because he's a DPP and this particular prosecutor is not?
Advocate Chauke has been suspended by the President because he is a DPP. That is correct.
So the suspension in this case would it have been effected by